Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite or Might. I, Michael Cole, with Daniel Bryan and with Taz. And today on Dynamite or Might, we have here today Father Yule here today or here tonight on Dynamite or Might. Well, it's always good to see Father Yule, Daniel Bryan says. It is becoming Yule time. That time of year when, when we think about the birth of Jesus, for Yule. But not to be left out with the other two holy days that also happen some in the 12th month too. Yeah, you'd be thinking about the gathering of lights for the Jewish folk, Taz says, or the gathering of followership for the non-Christian and black folk as well, because those holy days also happen in the 12th month as well. Ho, 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 happy Yule. It is I, Santa Claus, Father Yule here. And I've been showing up for the TWF since the 11th month, going into the 12th month. And I must say, a lot of things have happened. Yes, I wrestled in 2 matches, one against Maxwell Jacob Freeman, which I lost in, and one against Becky Lynch, which I won. And at the end of the day, I want to say there is most likely more folks on the good list that I have dealt with than folks on the bad list that I've had to, deal with as well. Well, Yule is not about me. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do about Jesus, the Son of God, who was born on Yule. And no need if folks say that even if the Holy Book doesn't say what month, what date, what year, and what time that Jesus was born in, the Holy Book does say he was born. God so loved the world and so forgave the world for its sundry sins and misdeeds. God hated sin, but he did not hate the sinner. And our sins made us be dirty in the eyes of God. We were unclean due to our sins, so we were not worthy to be in heaven. But God wanted to make that all right. So God sent us a gift. And that gift was his son Jesus. And the gift that God and Jesus gave us was to have those sins atoned for and have our sins washed away from us, so then we were clean once again. So we would be worthy of having that stead in heaven through God and through Jesus. And that is why Yule is a so outstanding holy day to the Christian folk. Now, some folks out there are going to say, well, you didn't talk about the gathering of lights, you didn't talk about the gathering of followership, or the other holy days that happen around this time. Well, that's true. I didn't talk about them, I didn't talk about them because I didn't know any. I didn't talk about them not to shame anything. I just didn't talk about them because I don't know that much about it. Now, the gathering of lights, if I am right or not, is about onlooking the wonder that God had made, where the Jewish folk were in their worship house, and that they only had enough burnable ooze to get those candles going for those 8 evenings and 8 nights. And they onlooked that for them, that's what the gathering of lights is all about. Now, the gathering of followership is all about what the black folks, what their goals are, what they work for, things like that. Now, don't hold to me because I don't know as much about that as I do about others. Boy, isn't this so? Father Yule not knowing anything about other holy days besides Yule. You know what? I'm about sick of you. You want to know why? I'll tell you why, Baron Corbin said. First, I can't even stand up in the ring. Stand up. First off, you have nothing to do with Yule. It's all about Jesus. Stand up. You have nothing to do with Yule. It's all about Jesus. It had nothing to do with you. But why there are so many films and why there are so many plays and films and shows and songs about you and why you're all over the stead, but Jesus can't be anywhere. First off, Baron Corbin, you're not the first man or woman to scathe me and to say that, oh, I took you away from Jesus. I did not take you away from Jesus. Alright? The grounds to why everyone is alright with me being around is that I'm someone. I'm made up. I'm a follower of folklore, of folk tales. So, but you see, Jesus is a follower of worship, and many other folks don't worship Jesus the same way the Christian folks worship him. So out of onlook to their beliefs and their worship, Jesus can't be all over the stead, even though the whole world belongs to God and Jesus. And if you somehow shame me and say I took you away from Jesus, I did not. Hey, Santa Claus, is Baron Corbin bullying you? Well, he was shaming me and told me that I took you away from Jesus. Well, we all know it's not true. Is that so? Well, let me tell you something, Baron Corbin. You've always been mostly a creep during almost your whole run in WWE. When you were on NXT, then SmackDown, then Raw, then SmackDown, then Raw, then NXT, then SmackDown. Well, you were a baby later by the time to let you go. This is between me and Father Yule. It has nothing to do with you, Braun Strowman. Well, here's, if you're going to pick on Father Yule or shame or guilt Father Yule, I'm going to make it my business. And then we'll see what happens. And then we'll see what happens, Alright, Ric Flair says. So, let me get this straight. Baron Corbin, you were shaming and guilting Santa Claus because you guilted him and shamed him and said he took you away from Jesus. Not true. And Braun Strowman here wants to fight you, so I can at least handle one of those things. Here today, we will see Baron Corbin take on Braun Strowman. See that as your early Yule gift, Father Yule says. Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, yes. Well, first off, we can say, as a need of truth here, Michael Cole says that Baron Corbin wanted to shame Santa Claus or Father Yule and say that he took you away from Jesus when we all know that that is not true. Well, yeah, Daniel Bryan says, I was guilty of saying shit like that when I was a heel. I came out one year. This was in 28 between YL. It was SmackDown Live. I came out and guilted everyone and said that and said that buying all those things was the grounds to why world heating became a thing. You know? And that was the year of 4 Santa Clauses, believe it or not, that year. I mean, that year, we started out with Biggie Langston as Father Yule 1, followed by Vince McMahon as Father Yule 2, then Rhino as Father Yule 3, and then R-Truth as Father Yule 4. So that year we had about 4 Father Yules in WWE that year. Ding ding. Well, yeah, you're leaving out you were a heel at that time, Taz says. And Braun Strowman has no right to start that shit with Baron Corbin, you know. You know, Baron Corbin has the right to free speech. That means he has a right to guilt and shame Father Yule for taking Yule away from Jesus. I mean, why call him Father Yule for anyway? I don't know, Michael Cole says, Taz, why they call him Father Yule in some lands and why they don't. But I don't think it has anything to do with him taking Yule away from Jesus. And Baron Corbin, who knows what, Braun Strowman wasn't going to stand for the shaming and guilting of Santa Claus. Body slam, Michael Cole says, and Braun Strowman has taken down Baron Corbin. Hey, Taz said, it makes me think of years where I had runs in with Father Yule, and they didn't go good. Sunday Night Heat, 20-0, Scott Taylor. Sunday Night Heat, 20-0. Some Santa Claus working for the right to clean ship, and somehow got Devon and Bubba Ray Dudley into wanting to, stop doing tables. Only this Father Yule came after us, and we had to choke him out, and he got for a board. Oh, Taz said, so you could see why I had bad runs in with Father Yule. And Baron Corbin just body slammed Braun Strowman. Michael Cole said, yeah, you had 2 bad runs in with Santa Claus and WWE and 20-0, and both of them were on Sunday Night Heat. Michael Cole says. Yeah, Baron Corbin had some bad runs in himself, but not with Father Yule, though. Dan O'Brien says. And now coming back, Baron Corbin thinks he's going to do the ends of day, thinks he's going to do the end of days, thinks he's going to beat Braun Strowman. Well, forget that's not happening. Dan O'Brien said he's not wise enough to know he can't beat him that way. Now he's outside now. Braun Strowman just ran him over like a steel horse, and back in the ring he goes. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the ring anymore, Daniel Bryan says. I'm glad I don't got to go through those kind of things anymore. I feel sorry for, Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan says. Well, Taz says, this is one-sided match, sadly. And sadly, Baron Corbin got thrown into this match because he stood up to Father Yule, stealing Yule away from Jesus, Taz says. For the last time, Michael Cole said, Father Yule or Santa Claus didn't steal Yule away from Jesus. All right? 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman has beat Baron Corbin, here today on Dynamite or Mike. And looks like we might have to put this film on still. Well, the way I look at it is, Michael Cole says, is that Baron Corbin has the right to his beliefs or thought. But it's not true that Santa Claus or Father Yule stole Yule away from Jesus. Well, that's right, Daniel Bryan says. There's no truth to that. A lot of folks can say that, but there's really, truly no truth to back it up. And if that is what Baron Corbin believes, then that's what he believes. Well, Taz said, I'll tell you what right now. So that's what you get for speaking your mind. That's what you get for doing the freedom of free speech. Well, Taz says, that's kind of sad. And Baron Corbin, he did one thing that everyone should do. They should stand up to Father Yule and say, Yule is about Jesus, not about Father Yule. Well, Michael Cole said, Yule is about Jesus. And a lot of folks know that. So they have no need to bring it up to Father Yule, because he knows that Yule's about Jesus. And he didn't take Yule away from Jesus. Alright, we'll take it away now to Renee Young. Thank you, Michael Cole, and I'm going to be talking with Baron Corbin here today on Dynamite or Mike. Alright, Baron Corbin, what made... Stand up. Stand up! What made you want to stand up for Father Yule? Well, first off, Renee Young, I didn't think it was right that Braun Strowman and that Baron Corbin guilted Santa Claus and said he took you away from Jesus, when we all know that's not true. And two, I like Santa Claus, but I know that Yule's about Jesus. Alright? Santa Claus, he gives those gifts out. He's keeping the happiness and glee of Jesus' birthday Yule alive. He's giving gifts out to onlook Jesus, since God gave Jesus to all mankind and womankind as a gift. He shows the same love and the same kindness and the same forgiveness that Jesus himself showed when he was alive. And I'm not going to have Baron Corbin come out here and besmirch all of that. Well, Baron Corbin does have the right to his belief, even if a lot of folks don't like that belief or not. But I will say, Braun Strowman, that you were Santa Claus one year. I think it was 2024 YL when you played Santa Claus in WWE on Friday Night SmackDown. That's true. I did play Father Yule in 2024 while in WWE on Friday Night SmackDown. And I had my bind with Carmelo Hayes, who came from NXT to SmackDown that year. But anyway, if Baron Corbin wants to, for longness, be from one night, then I don't have any bind doing it. Hell, I could bring the beatings for 8 nights, like they do for the Gathering of Lights. Or I could do it for 12 days, like they do for Yule. Or 8 days, like they do for the Gathering of Followership. The Holy Day, whatever, 8 nights, 12 days, all be the same to me. If Baron Corbin wants to take, then I'll bring it. And up! Well, that's my talk with Braun Strowman. Back to you, Michael Cole. Thank you, Renee Young, for talking with Braun Strowman here today on Dynamite or Mike. And that's all the time we got here for Dynamite or Mike. I, Michael Cole, with Daniel Bryan and Taz. We hope you like Dynamite or Mike, and we'll see you tomorrow for Impact or Hit.